All right, everyone, and welcome back to Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks as we are continuing on. Uh, again, you know, they made some radical fucking changes to the economy of this game, and I'm glad for it because it made Era 1 much more challenging than it was initially, and I like that. I like that a lot because Era 1, even on this difficulty, which is, I believe, executive is what it's called, because I think it goes like whatever the beginner entrepreneur, which is the second, or is the second easiest, executive, and then tycoon. So even at this difficulty, Era 1 was incredibly easy back in, prior to the updates that they made to the economy and whatnot. So let's continue on developing our infrastructure and everything. We are working on getting the rest of our stuff here built. We are currently producing more of the Vanguard Mark 1s. I'm still loving this khaki. Like, this is actually a really fun color. I should have. I definitely slept on this a little bit. So we're working on that, and then we're getting prepped, of course, for any potential orders that come in, which those orders are going to start flowing in very soon. We've already fulfilled orders for two battalions. Hopefully they raise more battalions relatively soon. So let's go ahead and kick it off for the episode. All right, and then let's get this, and then that will heavily increase our reliability when it comes to that. And then we also have a new contract that we can go ahead and do. We can go ahead and get 35 tanks sold, which we will definitely do. We want to sell as many tanks as possible. It's still the Hector Mark 1, so I think we'll be good if we go around the 250 mark again. Let me just double check that again. Yeah, 250. Well, since we already know the number, we can actually go even heavier. But yeah, 250 is going to be what we're going to need for the Hector Mark 1. And we got a bunch of tanks to still produce, but that will cover the contract. Let's go ahead and ship out the tanks that we've already produced, though. Oh, wait. Don't actually have the contract yet. There's the extra material. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and ship these bad boys out. That way we can minimize our lag time on the 5 extra hulls that we are sending. All right, so we have this. We need to get into crude oil and then get the inline I-6, and then we'll get the Hornet. And at that point in time, I think we're pretty all right. We are going to need to get down to improved common round, light naval gun, and AP munitions. We're gonna get these 3 bare minimum before we advance any further, because that will give us a nice basis to play from. Of course, we get the delay on the tanks going out. That's fine, though. All right, so we got 18 days left on that, and I think we are good across the board. We could go ahead and get the riveting hull here. Actually, let me look at something real quick. So, Era 2. So this still uses riveting. This still uses riveting. Rolling, riveting, 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 riveting. Rolling, riveting, rolling, riveting. Riveting, rolling. What? Actually, no, this is bending, isn't it? Yeah, that's bending. Yeah, okay, so still a lot of rolling. Okay, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna go ahead and we're at least for the time being. Let me actually, because I'm trying to kind of avoid having to do certain things. Okay, so this is where we get into casting. But the turrets, some of the turrets still use riveting. This uses riveting. This uses hardening, rolling, and welding. Just trying to make sure. Okay, so some of these are still... Alright, so riveting is still kind of a thing to a certain degree. So we actually don't have to get rid of it. It's not as useful, but it's not like worthless. And then it looks like rolling is definitely going to be one of the next ones we need to do. So rolling, and then of course welding, because welding on the high-tech stuff, or this high-tier stuff, is definitely a thing. Alright. So let's get these tanks shipped out as soon as we possibly can, because I'm trying to avoid taking... Oop, not what I wanted. Trying to avoid taking out the grant from the government, which... Okay, we still have enough money. Of course it got delayed. Okay, well, we'll still be able to cover our costs. That's no big deal. And then let's go ahead... Oh, I could have ordered more stuff. Let's go ahead and produce another 35 of those. And then let's go ahead and order in what we can. Honestly, 30k rubber is kind of like all you really need from, in general. You don't really have to go past 30k when it comes to rubber. Alright, so, and we now have this bad boy. Thank God. Machine gun? Oh, I already had it. Oh, damn. Well, that's fine. That's fine, actually. Because we can go ahead and reverse engineer this stuff. Get some extra components, and we can play around. So, actually, it's not a big deal that we bought that. Damn it, I didn't let... Oh, I took out the grant. Alright, well. Mistakes were made. God damn it. Rookie mistake. It's all good. It's all good. Alright. Well, we're sitting at a cool 2 mil. So that's nice. And then again, that will allow us to oh yeah, because we bought the license for this. Let's go ahead and just trash that, because we're not going to use it. And then yeah, we just need the last of the upgrades we need for this. Alright, awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and continue ordering stuff in. Middle East. Honestly speaking, yeah, I'd just rather avoid ordering from multiple places. Let's go ahead and do just the amount of iron they've got, and then let's do... so that will give us 30... so that would be 60... so a little over 70k, or no, just a little over 60k. Okay, so all right, that's a good number. And then medium carbon steel, we want about the same, so let's go 42,000 on that. All right, yeah, that should do us good enough for right now. All right, and come back over to reverse engineering, and then that's kind of worthless. This is kind of worthless. Yeah, I guess getting the flush cupola is not bad, because we can actually put a cupola on our tanks. So we'll just leave that like that. No point in really doing anything else. Alright. And then, yeah, we're just waiting for more contracts. Yeah, that's basically it. At this point in time, we're waiting for contracts to come in so we can ship tanks out. And we're waiting for tech so we can do upgrades. All right. So material wise, 60-60. I could go 70-70 on these pretty easily. Just clean that out again. All right. More Vanguard tanks. Happy to oblige. And then just bring it down to 350 because I don't want to spend the money on. All right, cool. And we already got the tanks available. I have the time. Oh. I have the time to burn, so I'll just use the cheap option anyways. Alright, and we'll go ahead, and this time we're only going to produce 35. Seems to be the max that we're getting on these contracts, so we'll only produce 30 this time around, just to have a closer approximation to what we're getting contracts for. Alright, and then the engine, very nice. Then we need to come down here to firepower, improved common round, naval light naval gun, AP munitions, boom, boom, boom. At that point in time, that'll be a nice solid upgrade for our stuff. We also need to start engineering. So we did do these. Actually, now that we have the cupola, is it going to be better? Yes, it's actually. Well, it's only. It's actually not much different. Okay, well, never mind. Let's go ahead and assign that because we need to do that. Cool, thank you. And then we also need to go ahead and retire these other hulls. And then... have we done the redos for these? No, we have not. Okay, so we're gonna have to do these again. Shipbuilding steel, and then what would be a better option? All right, and then let's go ahead and improve. We're just going to make marginal improvements to the protection. Because I don't want to make it too ridiculous. This brings it up a little bit, and then let's go ahead and clone this. Pistol hatch, reinforced hatch, and then which one of these would be the better one? So the thick hatch would actually, or thickened flap would actually be. Oh wait, I'm stupid. I should use this one. Haha. The wide slit vision port. I should use that. All right, cool. And then again, marginal improvement to the protection. Boom. All right. That definitely brings those into a good position for us. And then the central cab here, like, we really don't need it, honestly speaking. So we can go ahead and just send this to archive. We're not going to be using that. And then we have this bad boy, which this is a much more efficient engine overall than the Knight. So the Knight can go into the archive. That's fine. We'll go ahead and put that in the archive, put that in the archive. Centipede can go into the archive. And then let's see if there are any improvements we can make to this utilizing parts that we've gained from other places. Potentially reduce mobility a little bit, improve some repairability and reliability. And then what if we got rid of the grousers? Oh, that's a huge hit to mobility. Oh, never mind. We're keeping those. We're keeping those for right now. Okay, cool. So we'll just do a marginal improvement to, it's only 1 point, but we'll do a marginal improvement to the Warhorse. Just to kind of, again, just modernize the Mark I as much as possible. We want to keep the modernizations cheap for the sake of our pocketbook and our time. Especially because we do need to get to the later tanks as quickly as possible. But we're going to have an easier time getting to those. Now, one of the things that I will point out is I think I have discovered a problem. Is we shouldn't get, if I am correct, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure we shouldn't get the heavy Vanguard and Fusilier tank contracts until we unlock the new hulls. So it's actually beneficial to us to avoid unlocking the heavy Mark V until we, and even the Mark 8, until we actually get to the point where we are producing them. So it's actually to our benefit to avoid rushing those too quickly. So if we focus the later techs that we need to focus on in order to benefit ourselves as much as possible, then we're in a much better position. So if we come up here to mobility, get armor car fuel, enhanced the landship tracks, the V12, the Liberty V12, and the aviation fuel. If we just focus this stuff and then jump over to firepower, get the anti-infantry rounds, the coastal defense gun, the heavy machine gun, the improved AP munitions, the enhanced common round, and then we come back here and blow through FHA steel and the improved mail sponson, the improved riveted assembly, and then the heavy Mark 8, the armed fixed turret, we can come back to the improved female sponson, or we can just design a female sponson. We can eventually come back to this. But the point is that if we wait on this stuff first, we can get the rest of this tech out and slow down the contracts coming in for those heavier tanks. So it is actually to our benefit to be a little bit on the cautious side. Okay, so we can actually get 39 tanks on this one. So so now we're dealing with the Hector Mark II. So this is going to be in the 230s. So we'll still be good in the 250s for right now. So let's go ahead and go with the 39 tanks. Again, just marginal increases to the amount of stuff we're producing as of right now. Let's go ahead and go 39. produced. And if we have to produce a few extra tanks in order to fill a contract, I'm not going to be too worried about it. Let's go ahead and order in more stuff, because I like stuff. Okay, so 70K on this, or 700, or 7,000, I should say. 700K. Okay, cool. Go with that. So we had an accident in the production hall. That's fine. We can go ahead and quickly hire workers to refill the line with. Y'all have a job to do. All right. Oh, I forgot to ship out. Okay, well, I'm going to pay a little extra money for the shipping because I forgot to actually queue Ryder and Co. up. So I'll just take a little bit of the hit. It's not much more of a hit than Ryder and Co. It just lets me get that out there quicker. And it's slightly more reliable, so there we go. Another contract fulfilled. We definitely want to get this this improved version of the Mark 1 out as soon as possible. Because we are, wrong one. We are going to start running into a wall with our development. And so we want to make sure that we are as prepared as possible for that. So 31K on that. So we'll order in as much iron as we can. We're gonna have to pull iron from the Middle East, which we'll still get a good price for it. So but yeah, we want to get these improved designs out as soon as possible to help our situation. So with this, this will give us 2 rounds, two tank rounds, 2 machine gun types, and then the improved guns. Of course, the MG08 is a huge boost over the Lewis gun, and then at that point in time, that'll make a good improvement for the Mark 1. And then we start going hog wild. We need to get the Hornet, and then we go here, down to here, and so on and so forth. So we need to, because we definitely want to get the exploitation tanks out as well. Because there will be a lot of contracts for those. Like, those can make you some real good money real quick. Let's go ahead and order in. That'll be 36. No, 26, my bad. 26,000 iron. And then rubber-wise, we're good. High carbon steel, we could definitely use a little more of it, but it's not like we're dying for it. We can order in more from Africa here in a bit. So we'll be good. All right, still dealing with the Hector Mark 1s or Mark 2, so we're good there. They're not like getting crazy with their development times. So we will be fine and dandy. What they just, okay, so the what I refer to as the prototype of the FT-17 just hit. So the reason why I say it's the prototype is because it doesn't actually have the same all right, so if I add 4, it doesn't have the exact same tracks as the Renault. Send this out. Those are the same tracks that are used by the, what's it called? The Camulus. It's the same tracks. That's fine. I don't care about that delay. We got plenty of time, and we got plenty of cash in the bank to process our maintenance costs, so we're all good. All right, so finish off that contract. We got 15 days, and then the real fun begins. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and just double check. We have that. We have that. We have that. We're going to need the Hornet. All right, awesome. And we need to order more stuff. So let's go ahead and order in from Africa. Yeah, we'll just order in absolutely everything from Africa. And then let's get over to the design bureau. All right, so we're going to clone the Mark 1, start with the new stuff. Oh yes, let me send the V1s to the archive. Thank you. Send this bad boy to the archive as well, and then of course that. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and do the full crew like so. Expendables. Then we got all that. Very nice. Khaki brown. Assign. Alright. And as you can see, this is a huge jump for this tank in terms of stats. So that's great for us. We'll actually lay down the initial design. So Mark 1. Alright, so we will save that, and once we get the tracks, we'll go ahead and round it off. But yes, we'll have one more run of the Mark 1s and then the Mark 2s. Oh, actually, let me go ahead and... well, actually, I will wait on the sister design, the Fusillade design, because I can clone the Mark II. Alright, and then let's go ahead and order that, and order that. That'll be enough to sate my desires. What did they pick up? Oh, we can actually get this. We could potentially do a skirmish tank. Skirmish tanks are like, they're not like horrendously annoying to try to make. So what do we got going on here? Okay, so in terms of overall characteristics, this thing is a massive improvement. Overall, huge improvement in crew performance, huge improvements in mobility, big improvements in protection. Firepower wise, big increases, reliability overall. This is the official, you know, heavy Mark 1. And we can definitely get some improvements by getting the the components off of the heavy Mark 5. But again, we don't necessarily want to immediately get those components. We kind of want to, again, we want to take this with purpose. We want to, be smart about it. All right, we got another contract for these. Again, we're going to ship out. We're still dealing with the Hector Mark 1. That's fine. Or Mark 2, my bad. And then that will give us the ability to ship out and sell those older tanks that we have now that we don't need anymore. And then we can produce a new run of the other tanks. So, and then we can also come over here to design. As I said earlier, I need to do this. So go ahead and do up a Fusillade tank. So this will be the Fusillade Mark II, and we'll just call it the Mark II for simplicity's sake. Okay, so you need a lot more gunners. Okay, so this will actually have 7 guys. Some extra ammo. Boom. I feel like I misspelled Fusillade for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, there's an I in there. It's in between the A and the D, isn't there? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I misspelled it. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and retire that. And then let's come over here. Let's just get these out in one fell swoop. So let's go with this. Archive. And then everything good? Yep. Okay. Skadoosh. All right. So we don't need to scrap anything. We've sold off all of our inventory, and now we can get to producing more tanks very nicely. Let's go ahead and check North America real quick. Get 10,000 of this en route, and then we still got stuff coming in from Oceania. My bad. And then let's go ahead and start producing. So again, 39 seems to be what we're getting right now. Let's go ahead and start producing the Mark IIs. So the Mark 1 not a lot of fame to it, but the Mark II already starting with two fame from the series helps us out a lot. And it's very seldom that I actually get positive fame with that initial design like that. It's actually kind of great. It's one of the few instances where I've actually had that available to me. All right, cool. 3.7 mil. Oh, my Lord. We're doing great. All right, and then let's come up here. Amend. Thank you, sir. And then we need to slap the tracks on this bad boy. Commander. Driver. Gunner. Mechanic. I don't want to go over 5 for this design. It's just not worth it, really. Go like that, go like that. Let's give it that nice khaki. And then the exploitation Mark 1 is good to go. So, hopefully we'll start getting contracts for these. We'll have to find the time to build them. But if I can get this chunk of tanks built, that will help a lot, actually. If we could get through half of this contract or half of this production cycle before we get another contract, that would actually help out a lot. Alright, and then there's that tank. Boom. Alright, so what are we looking at? Overall, half decent situation. 714. Resource-wise, a little annoying. Because most of these contracts, you're probably going to make about 16, it's about 60, or 40 to 60 in the contracts, and you're going to make about 16 to 18K on those tanks. So it's a little annoying that it is what it is. However, we might be able to get some bonuses once we start unlocking certain techs, and we can really improve upon the stats. Exploitation tank, of course you want this. I love how I say it, and they demand it. But the cool thing is that they're immediately like, hey, this thing's great. So, let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to need 39 of these bad boys. Let's go ahead and cancel this production run. Get 39 of these bad boys growing. Now, luckily, these things do build quick, so we're in luck in that regard. But as you saw, these contracts, they tend to have a lot of vehicles associated with them, but the price of the vehicles tends to be a little on the lesser side. So you definitely have to, keep that in mind. And again, as we've seen with utilizing the shipbuilding steel as an alternative to going into the armors that we unlock, it helps out a lot, like, overall. All right, 2 more. All right, so we can ship out a full 30 for the contract, and then we can finish off those other 9. We are definitely going to be cutting it close with this one, because I'm trying to keep this from going into the red, but, I don't have any control over that. But with these exploitation contracts, you have to use the Writer & Co. option. You don't want to utilize anything else, because you just lose so much of the profit margin on these. Like, it's definitely one. That's why you have to prep them in advance. So we have 22 of these. I'm gonna go ahead and get. Let's go ahead and do. Yeah, we'll do. I'll do 30. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay, we'll do 30. Almost got it. It's like, no. All right, there we go. Boom. Back up over 3 million. And then we need to order a bunch of material. We just need so much. So let's go ahead and order it. Actually, we're good on glass. We don't need any more glass right now. Let me take a drink real quick. Also, real quick, somebody mentioned, and I apologize I didn't address this earlier in the video, but somebody mentioned that my voice was low. I tend to, because there's a bit of an echo in this room still. I haven't, still in the process of technically moving in. I haven't been able to decorate. So there's a bit of an echo. So I tend to try to keep my voice a little on the lower side and more controlled. Also, I don't understand how, I sound so quiet because it's like my microphone is right in front of my face. So I can't help you, bud. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm like, I don't know. Oh, come on. Send me contracts. Like, we have enough of a buffer at this point in time. Like, it's not like a huge deal to get a contract every month. But it's definitely annoying. All right, let's go ahead and continue our mobility research. We are well on track here. So once we get this stuff done, we'll jump over to firepower, get the anti-infantry rounds, get the coastal defense gun, the heavy machine gun, the Vickers. This is the only machine gun that's better than the MG08. And then of course, the improved AP munitions, the enhanced common rounds, boom, boom, boom. We'll be looking good. We'll be looking real good. And then we'll jump over here, knock this out. We'll go up here first, and then we'll come down here. That way we can just really, really hit it. We're seeing a lot of tanks coming into production. All right, and then let's go ahead. So we have 22 of the Vanguard Mark IIs. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do 3 more of those. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll do 3 more of these bad boys. We'll go 25 of the Mark IIs. We'll go 20 or 15 of the Fusillades. So the Fusillades will, they won't sell much compared to the Vanguards. Now, the U.S. has adopted tanks. Okay, so we can actually benefit from getting contracts from them now. So we'll go ahead and pick up contracts with them, since they're our next biggest potential buyer. And it's nice seeing only Warhound Inc. products in the lineup for the British military. It's very nice. It's very nice. I can't wait until this game, because if you guys are not aware, the final state of this game they started with the UK because the UK is where tanks were initially developed. However, I do believe that there is plans to make it so you can start with whatever tech tree you want, depending on what era you're in. So if you want to start, with the British tech tree, you can start in the British Empire. If you want to start with the French tech tree, you can start in the in France or French Empire, or French Republic, Second Republic, Third Republic, I think at that point in time. If you want to start with Germany, you can start in Germany. And then the other starts will be available in later, like, for example, Era 2, you could start in the US, Russia. Japan really didn't get into tanks until much later, but, you get what I mean. Like Japan was definitely in, when it came to interwar period, which I think, technically speaking, Era 2 is the interwar period. That's when they started getting into tanks. But yeah, I do believe that is going to be a thing. But we will have to wait and see. Alright, cool. So there's those last few tanks, and then let's go ahead and we'll produce 15 of these bad boys, just to have some in stock ready to go out to customers. And then we really need to restock. We really need to restock. Let's go ahead and get 14k of that. And then rubber, let's go ahead and go 6,000 of that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, we got another potential contract. Okay, so they want Vanguard Mark IIs. And just look at that score. Just look at the score. Fantastic. Magnifico. We can basically just say, hey, we want this. And again, if we pop up here, the Hector Mark II is currently reading at 256. We're sitting comfortably at 100 points ahead of them. So we can go ahead and we can, on a normal basis, like since we know we can still get this, period, end of story, we'll just go with it. But, okay, we know we can comfortably go to 300 points and we're going to get the contract. So 39 tanks, max out the price. This is going to bring in 1.6 million. And it's going to, we have a full, 4 months or no. Wow. 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. I'm like, wait a minute. my brain definitely fucking fizzled there for a second. Like, slow burn. All right. And we need to jump back over here. Let's go ahead and cancel these, even though we just started them. Let's go ahead and cancel that because we do need to produce more tanks. All right, we can't max out the production right now, but we will go ahead and max it out as much as we can. So this will definitely produce us the number of tanks that we need with a few spares. So we'll go ahead and produce. And then we need material to come in. That's our problem right now, is we need more minerals. We got another. Okay, so what are we seeing? Okay, so nothing that I'm really nothing that's jumping out to me. Let's make sure we do not sleep on this. So Middle East, well, USA actually, because I want to order as much as I can. So we'll order all of this. We'll order 20k of this. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, okay. Get us back in the position I want to be. All right, so we're almost done producing the tanks for this already, which is good. So let's ship out the 30, and we're gonna maximize profits here. We're going full abject capitalism here. We're going to maximize profits as much as possible. And there it is. This is the official Renault 17. That's the actual design right there, which coming in at 764 9,000 ton or 9 tons. This is a good little saturation tank, which is the role that it was definitely very, very, very good at during World War One. Most of these tanks, for example, the heavy Mark I was not too spectacular, technically speaking. The heavy Mark V was definitely the one that stole the show. Then you have the A7V, which the A7V was actually considered one of the better tanks of the era. However, due to limited production and just how damn expensive they were for the Germans to produce, they basically had a marginal effect at best. But again, considered probably one of the best designs due to the fact that it was borderline unkillable from the front. Anti-tank guns could not penetrate. There was no anti-tank guns. Like, there just wasn't any dedicated anti-tank guns of World War II or World War One. My bad. It was just field artillery that had been converted into an anti-tank role. I do not know of any engagements between the A7V and, say, the Heavy Mark V, for example, so I couldn't tell you how that would have gone. But overall, the A7V is historically considered a pretty good fucking tank overall. Again, just not produced in numbers anywhere close to what it needed to be in order to be an actual effect on the field. Now, in regards to these designs, I don't know where these designs come from, personally speaking. This game actually showed me this hull design in general. This might actually be what would be like a paper design that, it was a prototype design that never got produced, and there was just some documents that were surviving of it, for example. Not 100% sure. And then, like, for example, I don't know what this hull is referred to. I just don't remember what the tank is actually called. These things were actually some of the first. I believe this was the first French tank to show up, and these things were terrifying for the Germans to deal with because, oh my god, the main gun that it was armed with was a 75 millimeter field howitzer, which, at that time was the biggest, piece of artillery mounted on a tank. Absolutely terrifying for the Germans to deal with. But if they could swarm it with infantry and hand grenades, these things were easy as hell to deal with. And then, of course, this little guy, I believe I've seen pictures of this little guy. I just don't remember what it's called. And I don't really have any information about it. I just know, I know more about this guy than this one. So, just can't say. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish up this contract. Because it is nice with the fact that we do have the tank production, that we do have, the tanks doing well in scores and everything. Let's go ahead and produce... actually, you know what? Again, we're going to go to 25 max on the Vanguards, 15 on these, and then we'll have the leeway to produce extra ones as we need to. Alright, back over 3 mil again. It's almost like we learned our fucking lessons and actually learned how to fucking, work in this economy. Shit. I'm gonna need... Alright, North America's tapped. The next best is Asia, which Asia's not great for iron, but it's better than Europe. Well, actually, I haven't tapped Middle East at all. I haven't tapped this one at all. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do the Middle East for some iron. Yeah, rubber. Yeah, I can do rubber here. It's not gonna break the bank. All right, cool. And then we can pull extra mild steel from wherever. All right, cool. Hector Mark II. Why is that score as low as it is? What? Why are you doing this? Oh, they did climb up a little bit. We'll go ahead and knock this out. 32 tanks instead of the... Oh, was that the Americans? Oh, that was the Americans. Ha 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 ha. Finally do a contract for the Yanks. Cool. Alright, and that's done. Let's go ahead and knock out the aviation. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna hold off on the aviation fuel. While it would be nice to get that quick and early, honestly speaking, I don't think it's nearly as important as saying fuck it and getting into this as quickly as possible, so we can just get the heavy Mark 8 rolling. Like I actually, personally, I think that this is just a waste of 110 days as it stands, because it's not like required for our success currently. Because I can just put that on the Mark II heavy Mark 8. So never mind. We'll just hold off on it. Okay, Asia. Okay, so medium carbon. Let's go ahead and get the 13,000 that we want from here. And then let's go ahead and get the 11,000. Let's just do that. Fuck it. All right, cool. And that will max out our warehouse pretty much across the board. What else do we got? Okay, this has been captured. Do I care about it? I really don't. Actually, now that I think about it, we did finish up the Liberty. I wonder if there is what's the possibility? What are the possibilities with this? So we could get some massive improvements to mobility, but like we could get some significant increases to mobility, but then it also makes it incredibly heavy on the crew, maintenance wise. Let's go ahead and save this just to do a comparison. So basically it becomes incredibly unreliable, technically speaking, but it is a 30-point increase to mobility. So I don't know if it's worth it to just do that. Like, I just don't know. Hold on, let's see if we can play around with this a little bit. See if we can improve the mobility while retaining some of the reliability. So this is okay. Okay, hold on. We might actually have something here. So it's a marginal decrease in the protection. It's an increase in weight, of course, but it's a more than 10-point increase in mobility, but it is more heavy on the crew. So is there a way for me to increase mobility without making it incredibly hard on the crew? Is there a way for me to do that? Or am I kind of just stuck doing that? It might be a case of I just need to suck it up. Well, if I go that route, then I can go this route. It's a marginal increase. It's not much, but it's something. Didn't mean to do that. It's a 10-point increase to mobility. And it's only slightly lower on repairability. We might have to do this. Might just have to do this. Because unfortunately the V12 does not fit in the Mark 1. It just won't. And it would be lovely if it did, but it won't. So I'm not stupid, right? Like it doesn't fit in the Mark. Okay, yeah, I was right. Okay, I was about to say, I'm not retarded, am I? I was about to say, I thought maybe, just maybe, I could be retarded. Alright, so, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, what do we got going on? We have the contract with the Americans, 32 Vanguard Mark IIs. We are working on producing the last of those Mark IIs right now. We've got a pretty good situation going on with tech. We are all the way through, except for the last fuel upgrade. We are all the way through for mobility that we need. We're currently working on firepower, and then we will switch over to the structure stuff to get the last tank that hopefully at this point in time, once we have this unlocked, this will obsolete the this will officially obsolete the Vanguard and Fusillade, and then potentially, I say potentially, we can actually do a workaround. So actually, just to actually kind of show this off to you guys, because I was testing it and it seems to work. So what you can do is you can take a unit. So like say for example this Vanguard unit here, because restock contracts always go for more money. And what you can do is you can force it to where this unit, for example, is using the regular Vanguard tank. But this unit, you can force them to buy into a new type of tank if you use one of the two pieces of hull. So say I put the land ship tracks on the Mark 1 hull, I can potentially restock the regiment, and then later can potentially restock the regiment again, and then boom, give them land battleships. But the problem is that again the margins aren't as great, so you can do that. The AI, I haven't seen if they decommission battalions yet. I just haven't noticed them decommissioning them yet. Hopefully they do. big hope. But we are almost reputation 3, so this is going to be very nice. Now in regards to holdings, so we can start looking at potentially getting resource holdings, start helping us out a little bit, which actually, you know what, it's probably going to be a good idea for us to do this. So, and we have the extra money floating, so let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get those just to really help out our resources. So, but we are looking good here, and the Americans, we're going to start working on getting the ability to lobby with them and be able to actually start pushing forward with the, you know, again, they are our number one other economy we can trade with. Again, no other economy in the world has the ability to go into tanks the way the US does. Here we go. Sorry. 50% tank core. 50% tank core. French are only 35. Germans are only 25. Russians are only 10. You know, Swedes, 2. 1. Yeah, you get what I'm saying here. At the end of the day, you know, the Americans are the next best client you can have. So, anyways, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed so far, and I will talk to you lovely bastards later. Love you. Bye.